I provide and then questions the manner in which I provide it. I would rather you just said thank you and went on your way.
Yo. You know what it is. Let's get this out of here. Right now, again, I had a show that I wanted to do tonight. We was going to talk about the whole assassination thing, and that is a very important thing. We will have that show. Did a lot of research, but something came up that's way more important. Maybe that's a little overbit, but something that's more urgent, more right there in front of us, something that the people of my listening audience, the bigger part of my listening audience is Georgetown County, Williamsburg County, and there's a situation going on right now where we just lost a superintendent in Georgetown County. When I say lost a superintendent, we had a superintendent who came to Georgetown County. And Mr. Wesley, if you are in there right now, sir, I'm going to send you a link into your messenger, into your Facebook Messenger. I'm going to send it to you right now because I definitely want you to join this conversation tonight. And just make sure you somewhere where you got some good light in your face. And let me make sure y'all can hear me. The best person for the job. And Mrs. Scott. Okay, so you can hear me. What's up, Cliff Cox? How are you, sir? Welcome to the Real Talk Tuesday. Tonight, I'm gonna kind of be just kind of quarterbacking, because we got some different people coming in tonight that's gonna add some real perspective to this situation. Now, here's what I need you to do. Welcome to Andrews, the podcast family. You don't have to be from Andrews to be a part of the family, but I need you to do this, right? Here is what we are about. We're about community action, right? It's all about the people, okay? The power is with the people. And here in this situation, you guys know what we're doing. You know, we're wanting Ms. Giles to remain as the superintendent. So what I need you guys to do is get on your phones. I need you to record this. I need you to screenshot this. And I need you guys to be making phone calls tomorrow. This is the phone numbers of the Georgetown County School Board members. You see right there at the top, representative from District 4, Randy Walker. His number is 843-344-4253. Get in on that phone tomorrow. Make sure you call every one of these representatives, because these are going to be the people whom are going to be making that final decision as to who, and so, and again, I don't know enough about the process, so that's why I'm bringing other people on tonight, along with myself and the mayor, to help me and help you understand what's going on, and so that we can make sure we do what we do. But I know for a fact, if you want to influence that voting, I would recommend you call these numbers. Here it is on the screen. Okay, got Kathy Anderson, at-large representative, 843-344-6950. Robert Cox, 843. Whatever district you live in, or these at-large representatives, you make sure that you give them a call all week up until the time. You make sure your family members make these calls, because it's that important, because of what happened has left a bad taste in the citizens' mouth of Georgetown County, because people were fighting for a particular candidate, and apparently that candidate wasn't selected. The guy that was selected, it appears, I don't know what his motivation is, and I've just going by some of the comments that I've seen today on out there on Gab News about this being a place, Georgetown County being a place where folks come to build their resume, where, I guess the implication there is that, they're not here to, they're not invested in Georgetown County. And Miss Giles, if you know her, like I know her, with the same church as my mom. I can't say I go to the church right now because I don't go to the church, but it's still my mom's church. It's still, still a community church, Ebenezer Baptist Church. I've known Miss Giles since that time, and all the way through the process. She was an outstanding athlete. And let me bring the co-host on up here while I'm saying this. How are you?
Yes, sir. How's it going this afternoon?
Going good, man. I was just talking about Miss Giles and this situation that came up. Well, that's what we're talking about tonight. We had a whole nother show that and we scrapped that immediately as soon as that article came out. And so there's going to be some other folks joining us. And for those of you who are in the listening audience right now, check this out. There's a link in the description. Let me make sure it's there on Facebook where you can want to join the show. All right. You can click that link. Come on in. We need everybody to come on in. And especially if you have something, if you have something to add to the conversation, and I'm telling you right now, I'm biased. I'm Miss Giles. I'm Team Giles, or however you want to say it. So I need some people to come out and stand up for her, and let's get this thing on record, and let's put it out, because this is the only platform where we're going to be able to fight for folks like this in this way. Okay, so, but anyway, sir, good evening, welcome. How are you?
Hey, I'm doing well, sir. Trying to get a lot done. Got a plate full here, but this is an important conversation. I'm glad to be a part of it. And of course, I am in support of Dr. Giles, and I know we'll drill down into the details of that. But it's important that the community is also a part of it, because we've seen where when the community gets involved, folks begin to listen and think carefully about who we want to fill that position. So happy to be a part of that conversation.
Absolutely. And there again on the screen, you see the names of the school board members. And I would ask, don't call harassing these people. Call and just express your support for Miss Giles and being named as the permanent superintendent of Georgetown County. So again, I'm not familiar with the process, and we got some folks that's coming on that's way more familiar with it. Is this normal? I'm assuming that this is normal for them to take candidates, and I found it personally. I don't know. He didn't have to say 22 candidates. He could have wrote that a bunch of different ways. I found it to be a little bit antagonistic or whatever, but that's my personal preference when it comes to this guy's writing style. But what was the significance of the 22 applications?
Yeah, and I haven't spent a great deal of time on thinking through that, but the numbers is a little staggering. But I believe,
that's what I'm saying. Is Georgetown County the ideal landing spot or something? Is there something going on that I missed?
No, it probably is. I mean, I love this county. I think we all do, and the potential that it has is inviting to people. But and I've sat on several of these type boards at various points in the process, and this is by far the greatest number of applicants I've seen. So then maybe they are catching on that we have a very promising county. So maybe that's what it is. But when they open it up, I guess sometimes when you throw the net out, then you'll bring everything in. So I'm assuming that. But just without putting a whole lot of thought into it, you would think that that's an overkill, especially when you have someone as qualified as Dr. Giles. But again, the process is the process, whatever it is, and I can't speak to that. Hopefully, some of our guests who come on tonight can educate us on that part of it. Okay. on is this a normal process? And again, I'm not here to question that, but it is what it is at this point. And so the most important thing now is people getting out and speaking their minds on in support of Dr. Giles.
And I mean, I again, I had my tinfoil hat on all day, so I didn't really take it off when this thing came up, because what's crazy about that number to me is that do we have that many teachers applying? You know what I mean? Is it like that for a teacher position, or is there a shortage of teachers? Is that what I'm hearing?
So I think it's good we see some of the citizens' comments. And yeah, Dr. Giles I think she was selected. I'm not sure whether prior to Mr. Price coming on, but she did serve under, to Mr. Port's question, she did serve under his as his second, I guess, the deputy superintendent, if that's the proper term. But we'd also remind or inform people that she's also been in this system and has progressed through the system. So she's not a Johnny come lately in the Georgetown County School District. She taught and was a principal and all those things, you know, the normal steps you would expect that a superintendent, someone with those kind of that level of experience to have had before they submit for this thing. And so I saw a lot of the comments early on, you know, months ago when Mr. Price announced his leaving, and everyone came out and said, okay, we have a qualified person. And it was just, you know, several hundred people came out in support and, you know, comments, but a lot of those comments was geared towards in support of Dr. Giles. And so that's what we need. That's who we need in the system running our school district right now, in my humble opinion.
Hey, and away, so we got a school principal that's going to be joining the conversation right here. Again, we're going to build this panel out tonight and go along. Good evening, Mr. Wilson. How are you? Welcome back to the podcast.
Good evening, everyone. Everyone doing well?
Yes, sir. Hanging in there. Got a lot of hot topics going on, but we decided that this topic that affects our children is probably more important to talk about tonight and kind of get some feedback from educators like yourself on what do you look for in a superintendent, you know, as a principal. Yeah, I'm sure you have better insight than myself and Mr. Richardson. So that's kind of what we're certainly our focus is on the Georgetown County superintendent job that's now available and have 22 applicants as we speak. And I'm sure they'll go through the process. I think in that article, Jamal, correct me if I'm wrong, it has those dates where this thing will be reduced down to a number that I guess is manageable. And at the end of this process in October, which is 2 months after school starts, we'll have someone in the seat. And I can imagine how disruptive that could possibly be to getting off to a new year. My thoughts.
Yeah, and that's the part of it that's just kind of baffling to me, and it's like, okay, are the kids of you know what I mean, providing them a stable, because Georgetown County, the numbers in Georgetown counties are not is right at average, you know what I mean, if not at below average. So this seems to be a little bit to be, and I don't know that it is going to affect the kids so much as it will affect the administration. And I guess, Mr. Wilson, you being a school principal, you could tell me how that would affect coming into the new year with your leadership intact, or it happening, you know, in that rush when, you know, all this stuff is coming in for new school year and all that stuff like that.
Yeah. So, you know, the biggest thing in having a superintendent search, you know, we've in Williamsburg County, we've gone through several of them where we, you know, had to have that search for that superintendent. And the biggest thing, the kids are going to be all right. You know, it's not something that really impacts them. unless that superintendent was really hands-on with them in the schools and stuff like that. But most of the time, it's the adults who it really affects, because just like anything, you need stability. You need that leadership at the top pushing what's supposed to happen going on down into that classroom. And so, if there's anything lacking by the process, is that fact that it's going to be affecting those adults who are participating in it. And so, the kids, I feel, will be all right because they adapt more so than the adults.
Well, I think for me, it's the trickle down effect. So if it affects the teachers or the instructors, and this person coming in with new ideas, and again, you're 2 months into it, it will have, in my opinion, it's like tonight. School board had a workshop tonight, and the discussion was about controlling the use of cell phones in school. Now imagine that. So now this is going to be implemented at some point in time in the school. Imagine trying to, when you try to take a cell phone from the kids, how that just takes them out of it.
Yes, sir.
That alone can be so disruptive in the school, trying to implement that thing, and teachers involved in trying to enforce it. It was interesting listening to that discussion tonight. So I think from that perspective, someone new coming in, and they're coming in with new ideas on how to, improve the school district. I can't see how those changes, especially something of a cell phone restriction, will not have an impact on the students. So, just another perspective.
Yeah. Well, cell phones, that's our Achilles heel, dealing with cell phones and things of that nature, because just like you said, that's something that can take an all day dealing with, particularly if you don't already have a handle on it within the school, because everyone walks around with a cell phone in hand, at any time, if that's the protocol within the school. But most likely, if those adults are able to handle the situation, those kids they'll be fine. The thing you worry about is at what level are they going to be able to progress academically, with the adults seemingly being engaged in other thoughts, so prayerfully that won't be the case, and they'll be able to go on business as usual and continue to progress well through the educational realm.
And so that date, those interviews will take place August 12th, and the cut down date, August 12th through the 14th. A group of finalists will be revealed August 20th. Those finalists will be interviewed September 16th through the 18th. This current plan is for the board to hire the new superintendent for the first week of October. And of course, everybody's not on board. And Mr. Port had a question. And Mr. Port, I would like for you to just kind of in the comment section give us, why do you feel the way you feel about this right here? Glad Price is gone, but Giles is not the answer. If you don't mind, sir. And I'll wait on him to hit that section. But Mr. Gibson, there is a link in the description box right there on Facebook that you can come in on. Please come on in and join this conversation. All right, they need to have their phones on their persons for emergencies. This is Ryan Port. Okay, and I want you to take this, Mr. Wilson, being a school principal and all that.
That is never the case that a student needs to have their phone in case of an emergency. We do so much to keep students safe within a building, And so if there is an emergency at home or if there's an emergency at school, every administration has a protocol to handle it. If a parent needs to come and pick a student up, if a student needs to contact home, we have phones within schools. There is never, ever a need for a student to have a cell phone in school for emergencies.
I think people forget that there was life before cell phones. And
there was life.
And we did just fine. And here's another part to that, though. Even if they got the cell phones, even if all of those kids got cell phones, and I mean, let's just use Andrews High, for example, will that cause the ambulance to get there any faster? Is the question.
It will not. It will not. And even if they call the ambulance, they cannot get into that school to do anything until it comes through the proper protocol. Bottom line.
Yeah. I don't know. I just, again, Mr. Port, I disagree with that line of thinking right there. No, I think school, we did it a long time without being able to okay. And you apparently don't have, and we about to get off of this, Mr. Port, because you're going down a rabbit hole. You're assuming that I don't have kids in school. Here's a school principal here on here. I have a child in school. And I don't know why you putting your number out there like that, but it's and I respect the fact that he's talking about a situation that he may have had, but you can't take an anecdotal situation and prescribe that for the whole school, the whole school district. You feel what I'm saying? So there may have
happened. And again, respecting Mr. Port's opinion and position, it's a serious paradigm shift. Again, as you mentioned, us old heads like us, we didn't have those things. Or the parents wanted to call it was direct to the school and speak to someone in the admin office to about their kid. I think the issue is, and this is, I don't know how long cell phones has been in school. There's been some time now. And I think there's some statistics that's out there that shows how disruptive that those things are. Kids are not as well disciplined. I mean, you could see it, and not everybody's kid. I'm just saying you could see the things that phones cause in school. There's a video. People get excited about the ability to video something. That is not the proper place. So if you're there to learn, I'm sure that now the schools with all the computers in there, they can get on and do their research based on that. And that's kind of a controlled environment. But anything else, we're going to be glued to it. It's an addiction, in my opinion. I know I spend a lot of time. If you look at your hours on this and social platforms, and you can reach across the world, that's what is driving. That's what is distracting the young people from, and the old and some of us old head too, from focusing on what's important. And in school, they need to have their undivided attention. And that's we've got these devices.
We've even looked at all different angles, and at one time we said, well, if we're using the cell phone for instructional purposes, as a way to try to make it a part of the learning environment. And I mean, even that works in a limited way, because eventually they're going to go back to doing what it is they want to do on that cell phone. And so we have enough devices within school now that we can take care of all the technology needs that you need for instructional learning within the school. Cell phones, they just don't mix. It's just like driving with the cell phone. Most of the accidents we know about, a lot of them are caused by cell phones. You can stop at the red light and see somebody holding a cell phone in their hand trying to stroll while the red light is red. So it just does not work in the educational realm.
And see, and like I suspected with this response right here, he was speaking on a particular situation, and so that when I read this comment, what that makes me say is, okay, that's a bigger situation that you need to speak to right there, because obviously there's some issues going around in the school, because anytime you're in an environment where people are attacking each other, that's a toxic environment, and there are bigger issues at play. So I get what you're saying in that situation, but we're speaking more or less if whether or not cell phones are contributing to the learning experience and or taken away from it, and you can hear from Mr. Wilson there, you know, and through his experience, it's been a distraction.
And the one thing he's saying in his statement is the child's mother had to go to the administration. Bottom line, before anything could take place, you know, that mother had to go to the administration. She would not be able to get into the building unless someone let her in. And so, you know, that just goes more to the point, that those cell phones, you know, while they have their uses, you know, it's not something that's necessary in school,
Now,
particularly when you're saying, you know, you needed to keep your kids safe. It just does not.
So here's my 2 cents, and I'm a flip on you a little bit. And you just squarely put on a parent hat right now. And to Mr. Port's point, as we think about it, look at the number of school, and not just the fighting between the kids. Let's talk about the mass shootings. So if we look at this thing from a parent, and so there's a tremendous amount of confidence that has been ripped away from parents, that their child is going to be cared for or protected, and they're not going to rely on the authorities now to do that. They want, you know, for their comfort level. Think about it. And we've had I don't know how many mass shooters we've had in 2024, but the numbers are continuing to grow higher. So I really get it now. If you step back, you know, from an administrator, yes, we want complete control, discipline, so we can teach or learn. But from a parent, we know that there's more that's going on across the country, and it can happen anytime. So the level of confidence that their kid is going to be all right. Now, what that causes, if you having parents and everybody rushing there to be to save their kid, now you have a mass problem. Now you have a problem. So I guess to say, the bottom line is we have a serious problem in our schools that we don't have, and controlling the cell phone is probably not going to solve that or give the parents any comfort. I think that's probably where
it's about, again, that stability that you have to have within that setting, and the confidence that you have within those persons within that school to make sure that, hey, I'm going to take care of your baby when they're in my care. And so I can't speak for everyone in America. I can't speak for everyone in Williamsburg County or Andrews, but I know I do my level best to make sure that when that child is in my care, they are protected.
And we can take this to, and I don't want to change it because we really, and I think it ties into, we got on this subject because it ties into the challenges that a superintendent, superintendent is going to have. One of the things they're going to have in implementing this particular policy. But if you think about it again, the level of confidence for the parents with schools children in the school, or you're meeting at a political rally, who is, and again, who is there to protect the people? Because when you come to these places where you have mass folks in there, you expect to be safe. But we've seen time and time again throughout America that nobody can guarantee that you're not going to have a mass situation at school, church, you name it. So that's where I think the confidence overall has broken down. It makes parents a little bit uncomfortable about not having direct contact with their children.
But this ties into why you should be making these phone calls, because and again, Mr. Port, I sympathize with your daughter and I respect your opinion, but this is why we're saying that we need more stability at the school superintendent position, right? Because here now is exactly the way that you're expressing yourself is a great way to get this message directly to the people who need to hear it. Because again, as a father, I would be in the same, you know what I mean? I would hold the same position that you're holding right now. But that's why I'm urging people to get in there. I believe Miss Giles is somebody that we could talk to. You feel what I'm saying? We can get your message to, we can get our message to on situations like this. Again, and up on the screen right now is the school board's phone numbers, and that's going to be your Georgetown County School Board members. Please give them a call, District 1 through 7, okay, and let them know. District 5, Bill Gaskins in Andrews, his phone should be, he should probably come on live and be like, look, I'm voting for, leave me alone, okay? And let's get in here again. So you guys make sure, and this is what we're talking about, community action. These people are elected officials on the school board, and you, the people, can determine, you know what I mean, what it is you want them to do. But you got to be organized in your effort, you know what I mean, in your approach.
And Mr. Rich, you made a great point in terms of familiarity. So with Dr. Giles, and that is something she will bring to this position that no other candidate that I know of, unless there's somebody in the system, someone else in the school system that's been here as long as she have, can bring, is she know the parents. She either went to school with them or taught their kids or coached them in some form or fashion. She knows this community better than, or this again, the school environment better than anybody else, I think, right now that could probably apply for this job or qualify for this job. And so then if you know and have a sense of what could possibly happen, and based on all things leading up to it, indicators, you won't have that coming from somewhere else. You're gonna have you're gonna have to use your GPS to get from your house to the school district if you're not from here. She doesn't have that issue. She knows the people. She knows the parents, and not only that, she is qualified. That's the point. And then so that's this learning curve that will happen with somebody new, and adjusting and making decisions that probably not fit this county or this school. It's going to be more disruptive than we really need right now. We need to be settled.
No doubt. And Mr. Port, I'm not picking on you in no way. Again, I appreciate your candor. But I would offer to you, again, I wasn't in on the conversation that you had with Mr. Price and Ms. Giles, but I would say to you that those two people don't control safety at a level in Georgetown County, because they don't. We have safety issues throughout Georgetown County, period. If your child goes to Andrews High School, you're right. If your child goes to school in Andrews, you're right. They're not safe because there's not enough adequate ambulance coverage in the event of God forbid, some kind of mass catastrophe or whatever. And so, again, I respect, I respect what you're saying. I don't agree with it. I think Ms. Giles is the person for the job. Again, you've said your piece, but you haven't offered who you think would fill that spot, who would be an effective person at that spot. But yeah,
and I would offer again. I would say again, because this is personal experience coming from Mr. Port, and I would say that there should be a conversation with the authorities to hear what his concerns are, because it sounds like it was pretty tragic situation, and I think any situation that was not resolved to the level of satisfaction to warrants probably a further conversation if you're trying to now to become the head of the department or the head of this organization, because there may be some explanation on how these processes go. Because if you look at, and I don't care where you go, whether in my position, the principal, superintendent, you're responsible for everything that happens or fail to happen, whether you're directly involved in it or not. So that's just the way it is. That comes with the position. That comes with the parking space. So, but I will tell you that down the line, there's a whole security department that is headed up by Mr. His name escapes me right now, but there's a whole security department. And you also have the resource officers that are in there, certified class A officers that are in the school. You have the teachers, and you have then even an individual that should bear some responsibility for reporting things that Alan Walters. Yes. So Mr. Alan Walters has been around a long time, smart guy. He has the responsibility for the safety and security. So then when these things break out, you can't avoid that. A fight, if a kid's having, you're not going to avoid it. But then how do you handle it from that point on is what's important. That's when then the leadership comes into effect. Did you handle this thing properly? Now, the decision that they have to make about said situation is not a one size fit all. They may be very different from one before because of the things that play into it. So I say all that to say it's probably important that if they have the time or should take the time to have a conversation with Mr. Port and his family, if they have not had that yet, to come to some understanding why the outcome came were the way, the way it was settled at the end of this situation. Because, again, personally, we're going to, our kids are our life. So we respect the fact that, we got to respect that. And then again, because we don't want people thinking that the entire school district or Andrews High or Walkmore, whatever it is, if there's a single incident or a couple of incidents that this defines a school or defines a community. Because there's more good people than bad out there. But then if you don't address this thing, then it linger on and it become somebody else's truth as well.
Yeah, Mr. Port, again, he said he wasn't going down that rabbit hole, but I mean, we down in there. But this is great. I love this. I appreciate this because we need to know what thoughts are out there. Again, because everybody's not going to be in agreement with everything, and so sorry, Mayor. Mr. Port, to your next thing right here. My I understand, and you're passionate in what you're saying, but we're solution based over here at Andrews the podcast. Okay, so you're saying, okay, let's get rid of this one and get rid of that one, and then put what in place? You feel what I'm saying? So, we can't be so quick to want to tear it down if we don't know what we're going to replace it with. And in this case, I think, given the situation that Georgetown County finds itself in, Georgetown County School District finds itself in, I think Ms. Giles is the best and the most logical and the smartest choice moving forward at this point right now. And that's just my little 2 cents.
And you see, so it's a classic. I think it's a classic position for anyone to take, where, again, everybody along the chain of command is held responsible. Now, at the end of the day, in the school district, a little bit different from other, who makes the final decision on what's to be done? That's the man or woman that sit at the top. So regardless of what Alan Walters thinks, or what Dr. Giles as the deputy.
Yeah, that's that part. I wanted to say that too.
It is Mr. Price's. It was his. It's his decision.
His call, his show.
And here's the deal. And I believe he, if I know him as well as that, I believe he considers all the facts and those things. And a lot of these things are a tough decision. You're not going to make
everybody
happy. And so I'm sure there was a happy medium that they thought they reached, but unfortunately, in this case, this family was not satisfied with the outcome. So again, I tell you, if you want to be in leadership, you better have some thick skin and be ready to take, the criticism that comes with it, because it comes fast and furious, and that's just the way it is.
And Mr. Wilson, I'm sure this is a situation that you're not unfamiliar with, dealing with parents and kids, and parents feeling that, they didn't get their just due, in a particular situation.
Oh yeah, most definitely. I mean, there's always two sides to the coin, and so sometimes we get it right, and sometimes we don't get it right. Sometimes we get it right, and no one is happy with it. Sometimes we get it wrong, and nobody is happy with it. There's just no way that you can please everyone in every situation. But the best thing that you can do is stick to the policies that you have in place, which are set in place to help govern and take care of those situations when they do arise. I can recall my first time having a bomb threat. I mean, that was you can't practice it enough. Once it comes up, and it comes up extremely fast. And so, there's just no way to get it right all the time in every situation, but you do your best to stick to the policy and always know that you're dealing with people, you're dealing with children, you're dealing with parents, and you always have to be sympathetic or even empathetic to their feelings and what they're going through in a given situation.
And you said something, I'm with the feelings, but that policy, and that's me. What policy dictates, I'll be as empathetic as I can be, but that's what that's what it is.
Well,
that's how
that policy is what protects you on down the road. They may feel good leaving out the door, but if that policy wasn't followed or it wasn't done in the correct manner, that's the thing that'll burn you up if it's not what was followed. So it's always been from day one. Listen, the best thing to do is go by the rules of engagement, go by the policy, and make sure you protect the children, yourself, and the interests of the school district.
And here, Ms. Moore put a comment there, and this comment, and in light of what the show was supposed to be about earlier today about the failed assassination attempt, everybody should feel vulnerable, because think about the mechanism that the Secret Service is. Think about the machine that it is, and it's just one loner can penetrate that. So you know what I mean, and we're not the president. We're not, so nobody's, you know what I mean, like safety is something that I think about that a lot more now, given what just happened.
Yeah, that was a lot to really take in and see, and you had so many different talks about it, and everyone saying, well, this and that, but for someone to actually have to go through that's a hard thing to deal with, and a big pill to have to swallow.
Yeah, and Mr. Port, again, we know it's not an argument, sir, and you know, yeah, I've seen some fights. I've been sent some fights and different things like that. Again, here is where we're talking about this conversation. You're talking to us about a time when Ms. Giles was the deputy. Okay. Now, if she's in these positions, and again, if you can show me, because I'm a reasonable person, where some policies weren't followed or something like that, then I go along with you. The fights at Andrews High School, that has nothing to do with the administrators or the teachers. Miss McCraven's saying it all day. It starts at home. Okay, it starts at home. So, I'm with you. You know what I mean? And that's why PTAs are important. That's why getting to know the parents of the students that your children are in school with is important. So yeah.
And they're charged. Having dealt with a lot of this, we talk security. That was my life, still is, and protecting all things that's under your command or control. I think it really, and I'd certainly be interested in knowing more about Mr. Port's situation. I'm curious because again, the decisions that have to be made when you're talking about children, right? So if this was, do you now, was it so egregious or criminal that this kid should have been gone to jail, and didn't? That may be a problem. But that kid left in the school and continued to be a problem for other children, that could be a problem. That could be like Councilman Wilson, Principal Wilson said, following policy and procedure will keep you out of a lot of trouble. But so then if those things wasn't a part of it and this kid can be rehabilitated, do you want, was it a situation like that where you can fix them, if you will, and this person didn't do this again? Because do we want to end a child's life at, in high school or elementary school, or because of an infraction that I don't know. But those are the things that have to be considered when you're sitting at the level with Mr. Price or Dr. Giles is that all those things have to be in place. And so, yes, sir, I would certainly,
definitely. I got the number.
I would certainly like to, because again, it could be one family, and it's not, and that's too much. Okay, so I think it's important that we hear them out and or not just. I'm curious because as being who I am, I'm just curious to see where I can help if possible. But this is something obviously in the school arena that needs to be, I think, to have a further conversation. To be honest with you, just based on what I'm feeling coming from this parent. But again, all of this we're talking about, this is what comes with okay. Let's arrange that. Okay, yeah, let's arrange that. Definitely. And but these are the complexities of being in almost any leadership position, especially with what Mr. Wilson does, what we're talking about with with respect to the superintendent's position and Dr. Giles, that you will have to face almost weekly, if not daily. So are you ever ready for that level of responsibility? Is one of the questions I would ask anybody who is going for this, going for that position.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's definitely not something that you can just take lightly. Definitely not something you can just say, oh, well, I want to make more money. No, it has to be something that you're passionate about, something that you're confident within doing. And you're not doing it by yourself, but you're definitely going to have to pull together a team to help make it work. And if you got a team that you can pull together, it's something that can definitely grow and foster into something that will your entire community will be proud of.
That's right.
And that's definitely what you want to strive for.
Yeah, and you see what, and I'll say this too, in preparation for the next level. So the stuff that Mr. Gibson here is posting in reference Dr. Giles' work leading up to this position, I would say that she's seen it all. She's ready to implement those things that could probably minimize, not eliminate, but minimize what Mr. Port is talking about. Those kind of things. So when you understand the environment, you live it for as many years, I think it's 20 plus years, then you can be an effective leader. You can in place, you can in place policy and things, and some of zero tolerance. Some you would have to again look at all the circumstances around it. But I believe that a person with that many years in a single system is probably ready to do the job and do it very effectively. That's the key. If she's built for it, and I believe she's built for it. And I think that's what we're looking at. We're at the point where we no longer want to take chance on someone outside of the.
No, not. And I mean, I'm just be straight up and down. Not when we got that talent in house that wants to be here. Okay, that wants to be here. Again, some of the first comments that were put on that is this sense that Georgetown County is being used as a stepping stone, and with 22 applicants, that's what it sounded like. It sounded like somebody like, hey man, you go down there, they'll bring you in. You ain't even got to be from there, you know.
And unfortunately, we're like that. Whether you're looking at first responders, teachers, we have become, and I'm sure they got cases in Williamsburg County, other places too. We become that place. So let's get our foot in the door, get a year or so under our belt, and then we're going to go somewhere else.
And then we're going to go someplace.
Going back to Columbia with the big boys and all that.
Because those credentials are hard to come by, and you can't get them overnight. And so once you get it, now you're marketable because those careers are starting to slim down in terms of people available to teach, lead, be a police officer. So I mean, we experience it all the time. They come in and get the certification, everything, interview well, and we're here. We're gonna be with you, and then all of a sudden, nah, they're paying more money. I mean, immediately you start hearing about more money. Well, you knew what it was when you got here, and we were working hard to improve it. Where's the loyalty? Where's the commitment to the organization that have given you the opportunity to do what you love?
Yeah.
And you don't even see it even in professional sports anymore. There's no more, staying with that same team and making it better. So that's what we face. Those are the leadership challenges. And then again, how do you, superintendent, whomever you may be, going to deal with that? How do you now get the resources that has been missing from these schools for as long as, as we've experienced it here in Georgetown County?
Mr. Port, that's what we do over here, man. Give you a bomb for that comment right there, man. That's what we do over here. There's no progress. I can't stand echo chambers. I don't like echo chambers. And so, I don't disagree just for the sake of disagreement, but we gotta have different looks at different things and so that we can come to the best conclusion. And like I said, I think with this, this makes me say, okay, well, there's more parents like you that have these situations that a lot of times you need a platform, you know what I mean, to get it out there. And so
we definitely need him, because it's too many of us to sit back and not say anything. We will have a problem and we'll have a conversation internally or get on Facebook when there's no solution or no one is coming to these meetings or engaging with their whether it's elected or appointed officials, and say, hey, look, I have an opinion or I have a situation. How are we going to deal with this? That doesn't happen. And then we get to where Mr. Port is, that we've lost confidence that anybody in this chain is going to do the right thing.
No doubt. And so here it is right here, Georgetown County. Here is a list of some of your employees that you need to call and tell them what you want them to do. All right. Their phone numbers, you've provided them with phone numbers and nice little emails, right? So you can get on your email right now. You can email Kathy Anderson. Let's see. How was that email? How was that right out? How does that go out? So You're just gonna have to go. That's a link anyway. But the phone numbers are there. Screenshot. Give these folks a call. Let them know, hey, look, I am interested in your vote for the superintendent. And once these votes are cast, and you can tell them straight up and down, listen, if you vote opposite of the way that I want you to vote, yes, I know I'm just one person, but that's one person that will not vote for you, and I will work my rear end off to make sure that you got to talk to them like that. They work for you. You don't work for them.
I have a question for Mr. Wilson. In
Yes,
this process, the final decision, if I'm not mistaken, is down to the board, the school board members.
Well, it depends on how they have their policy set up. Once again, the ones we've been involved with is been the school board that has made the final say so, and so I'm confident that that's what it'll be in this case, because that superintendent would be working for that school board.
Right. So the selection. So then I'm asking because I've sat on. I probably won't get invited to this one because I have such strong opinion and about the next superintendent. So I probably won't make this board, and that's okay. I'll be outside. They catch me outside. At the end of the day, like again, the head of these organizations, and in this case, it is the elected officials. That school board will get all this recommendation, all these nice things, and we'll look at all the things that people, with the listening session and all that stuff that went on that comes into consideration. They're probably information overload, but somebody has to make a decision. It's going to be down to those members, and they're going to vote. So I say to the people, call your rep and tell them how, tell them who, how you feel. And I think that should influence it because again, just like myself, we all, we elected, we work for the people. And again, we're not going to make everybody happy, but again, it's always good to hear the opinions. And as long as we keep them professional, then, they'll be heard. We don't take any pot shots, but that's the same process, if I'm not mistaken, sir.
Yep. What we got here? Mr. Gibson says the school board makes the final decision. That is what we're told by the company hired to look for the superintendent. So they use a firm to do this search.
Right. They use a firm to do the search.
I'm wondering if this was the same firm they used the first time they did the search in Georgetown County. Do you know, Mr. Gibson, or not?
Yeah, I'm not sure. And I think larger organizations go out and get that third party to do the search, and then they come in and whatever criteria that they put out there, they look for those things, and then this interview process begins.
Yeah, you got to have somebody that can reach out and get those applicants, and then kind of narrow it down, and then they'll leave it to the process of the school board to complete that process.
And again, I think it's a good system, but in this case, I'm biased to Dr. Giles because I know she so I'm not knocking the process. I would like to know why it would take so long. Just 2 months into but I'm sure they have their reasons, and we'll have to respect that. But yeah, we need someone who is rooted in this community. And yeah, we need somebody who's rooted in this community that is committed to I can't think of anybody else right now. So yeah, I may not be invited to the to the screening process, but it's all good. Give me some freedom to express myself.
There you go.
No doubt, no doubt. So again, guys, y'all know what it is, man. Georgetown County, we need to make this happen. We got somebody that's qualified, that's in place, that wants to be there. Okay. Don't know what this 22 candidates was all about today. You know, I don't know. It's crazy that we got 22 candidates for that, but then there's always this talk about teachers. Lack of teachers. Obviously, they all want to be superintendents.
Hey, but check this out too now. So Dr. Giles get the job. Now they got to go right back through the same process now to backfill her position. So,
well, I think she would be the person that would hire after that.
Well, I thought that too, but she had to go through to get where she is. She had to go through a selection process. Yeah, and again, it's probably different from district to district, but she was not just and out. Let me pause. I'll go back and check, but I believe that was. I don't know if it went through the same process, but it wasn't a you just come up and do it, because she was a principal at Carver's Bay during that time. So I'll rely on your experience on that, sir.
Yeah, well, most of the time, once you get that person hired, as a superintendent, then at that point, and it's also, again, comes back down to the policy. But most of the time, that superintendent is in charge then of hiring everyone that's placed under he or she.
What was Ms. Giles in the last search when they selected Price?
I don't think so. I think she made a conscious decision to not compete at that time, and I respect her for that, because she wanted to, again, as much experience she had in Georgetown County School District, she wanted to learn more, and anticipating that her time will come. And so, sitting as the 2IC, a lot of times the deputy is more involved into the operations than the superintendent. So then, so I think, again, she's seen it all, the good, the bad, and the ugly. They're doing the COVID. So when they came up with the e-learning or whatever e-learning, she was a part of that process. So now there's a system in place. If there's inclement weather, things will happen. The kids can still get educated. So all these things are in place, and she was a part of that. The standing up the new, I think it's Carver's Bay is now, I can't remember, it's not chartered, but they now have this college prep school. She was a part of that. Now that, I think, is in its second year, and I think it was a 5-year. It was funded for 5 years. So the question, as it was asked during some of these sessions before they started up, how do you now sustain that? All these things are coming in. What's going to happen with this program when the money runs out?
Right.
And she's got to figure that out, because there's a lot going into this program down in Carver's Bay. So again, understanding the environment, what's been happening, how do you can't learn all that coming in new from a whole different state. In some cases, I'm sure a lot of these people are from outside the state of South Carolina. So yes, yeah, STEM, is it STEM school or something like that, whatever it is?
It's Stream School.
Stream School.
Yep. All right, so man, listen, I got to do this. I should have done this at the first part of the show. I want to say happy birthday to my uncle Mark Richardson. He is 59 years old today, and I hope he's watching. If not, I'll clip this out and put it at the front part of the.
He's probably at the gym taking pictures, seeing how.
Oh my God! Every morning,
yeah, he's always at the gym. That's my dude.
Hey, he flexing now. I said, boy, they get to Columbia. That water in Columbia got him crazy. She has a job of being a diverse community. Yeah, that's true. Yeah. No doubt over here, you know what I mean? She is that person for the job. Also, I wanted to bring up right now, again, this is going to be part of another conversation, but for those who were wondering who was the gentleman that jumped off the bridge in Georgetown, it's this gentleman right here. Found, of course, found him on Facebook. Somebody by the name of Sean Lawver from Bolivia, North Carolina, by way of Harrisburg, Pennsylvania. Now, don't have any more details. I am definitely interested in what was going on with this gentleman right here to make him, because from all reports, he jumped. He wasn't thrown from the bridge or nothing like that. It said that he jumped from the bridge. So be interested in to see what that's all about. Why did he decide to try to hit the R. Kelly and believe he can fly?
Never know. We've had a lot of tragedy these last few weeks. A young man who apparently drowned out there from the Walk-on Neck area. Condolences to his family. This young man, we don't know what's going through people's mind. What are they dealing with? And in this current environment where we are right now in our country, it's concerning. You got, senior level elected officials, attempted assassination on their life, and then lives being lost in the process. Again, you go back to what Mr. Port's talking about. Are we safe anywhere? You're talking about, the Emmanuel situation. Where are we safe? What's driving us? Suicide is still high. It's a challenge.
And in District 5, Georgetown County, I did some numbers. Fentanyl is ravaging District 5 in Georgetown County. And 5, I did I'll share that. I'm put it a little bit. That was a little bit too early, but I've got the information, and that's just something that if you're sitting in District 5, you better be watching, and you should be concerned.
Which is half of the town of Andrews that sits in District 5.
Absolutely. And I had a conversation with this homeless couple right there at the pavilion, as a matter of fact. Interesting conversation, deep conversation. And I straight up and down, I had to pause the conversation because when I started, the guy had just used whatever he was using. And so midway in the conversation, he just kind of like fell asleep. I thought he was dead. And but interesting, and it's raw, but it's what's right there. So we're gonna all take a look at it.
Yes, sir. It's rough. We got 2 calls out last night to suspected overdose. Same couple, but
Wow.
They get the choice whether they want to leave, and they choose not to go.
No, they're
with
not.
the medical folks. So you can't expect them. I think that's the thing. At a level higher than where I am, we have to figure out how do we force them to get help, or we just continue to leave them on the streets until they go.
You're going to be blown away by some of because that's some of the stuff that we talked about. Yeah, it's bad, man.
Well, once again, somebody's going to have to pay for it. If you make that decision, somebody's going to have to pay for it.
Mm-hmm.
And I would
cost associated with it.
Yeah, and I argue that we're paying for it in all different forms. If we don't get them, then it's the same. A lot of those folks that are vandalizing or invading private property, and so we're paying for it from that end. And if we get them into some kind of treatment facility, we're going to be paying for it there. But again, it's a part of the tough decisions that we as leaders should be making. We just can't. We can continue to leave them out there, and then they, and bad things continue to happen. Some level of control has to happen, but it is a problem.
It's a self-fulfilling prophecy, for lack of a better term. It just keeps
turning and turning and turning.
Yeah. So guys, listen, man, this is a great show tonight. I appreciate everybody for tuning in. Again, make sure tomorrow and for up until the time that they make this decision, you living in District 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7 in Georgetown County, make your opinion known. Call your representative and let them know that if they don't vote in the way that you want them to vote, you won't be voting in the way that they want you to vote. And it's as simple as that. But I'm gonna give you guys the last word here. I'll start with you, Mr. Wilson.
Listen, always a pleasure, and appreciate what you're doing within the community, getting the information out. And I hope you guys can come to some consensus on your superintendent, and get the choice that you're looking for. As always, we're here for community and working hard each and every day.
All right, Mayor.
No, hey, it's always good to have him this second time in a row. We've had Mr. Wilson on, man. It's good to see you again.
Hey, last minute call. He was like, hey, like a professional. He was like, "What's the topic?" I was like, "Whoa." He's like, "I bet." So, hey, man, let me give you that bomb right there for that right there, man. But go ahead, Mayor. I apologize.
Yeah, no, because it does add substance to what we're trying to, and we try to stay on topic that affects our community. And with you being, we're separated by this county line, which we're really not, because we share the
so much. We share a whole lot
responsibility and everything with the folks along that. So we're all connected. And this is the level of network and interaction and conversation we need to have throughout for the betterment of our respective communities. We can share resources, so it's always good to have you on and to get your professional insights on these things. Yes, sir. So just for me, we have a lot of important things going on. I think you rattled off a few of those things. I am committed to talking to Mr. Port and see what it is, what occurred, and see where we can help. Because again, if we don't address it, it would only get worse in the confidence. And we need him and others, all of us pulling together. Mm-hmm. And so I respect his views on things right now, and anybody else. We just got to keep working, man. It's a lot of work ahead of us. We don't always get it right, but the intent is to get it right and make it better for our citizens. So happy to be in. I appreciate this platform to do that and get the word out. So and also it's Chief Cockrell's birthday today too.
Oh man, happy birthday, Chief! I did see that earlier today.
Yeah,
I did see that today.
The other good news is that our tomorrow they will have a send-off for our young ladies going off to the World Series. They're back-to-back state champions. And so for our Dixie, I think it's the Dixie Bells. Mm-hmm. We encourage folks to come out, I think at 6:30 at the ball field, where they'll have, a great reception, have food out there, some fun stuff for the kids. I will not make that for other obligations, but I'm certainly going to send something there to support their travel. But let's get out and do that. This is huge to be back-to-back state champions, and they're representing the entire South Carolina at the Dixie Bells World Series. So big shout out to them, the coaches, and everybody that's supporting these wonderful young ladies. So that's what's happening.
No doubt. Also, after school program, Andrews Elementary. Go ahead and register now. That QR code is right there. Pull this video up on somebody else's phone. Matter of fact, that QR code will be, I'll share that out on my page. Something else I wanted to say before I get out of here.
Ice cream. Hey, ice cream down at the Ace on Friday the 19th. So that's courtesy ice cream. Very tasty. We had a lot of people come out 2 weeks ago. They stopped by the Ace at 30 East Main Street. in Andrews and get you a good cup of ice cream and some good conversation.
And after you get your ice cream, then fill out an application, and you can be an EMS paramedic shift supervisor. And so the shift supervisor. Hold on a second. I don't got to get in I don't have to actually do no paramedics.
Yeah, you're gonna have to do some paramedics. You don't just get to push no paper and go to the house.
I see that.
That's it. Some chest compression, check some blood pressure, all of that.
Man, listen, I'll be out there panicking on the scene. Special people that do this right here, and I know we got some people that young people. This is something that for a young person starting out, great career. You know what I mean? $45,000 just to walk in the door.
And listen, and you see that sign-on bonus, full time, and financial assistance for educational advancement. So hey, we're looking to invest in somebody who's willing to want to make themselves better and try to make our community better, safer, all of that good stuff. And then we looking toward the 31st of July, where we have a job fair in Williamsburg County. It's going to take place at 284 Thurgood Marshall Highway there in King Street. Come on out, fill out some applications. The Sheriff's Office, the Detention Center, Cummins Manufacturing, our transit system, again, emergency medical services, the Forestry Commission, McLeod Health, new board services, and plenty more. So get your resumes together and come on out.
These aren't jobs. These are careers.
These are careers.
These are careers. These are not jobs.
And Jamal, you gotta understand, we have so many people that are retiring. It's time to replenish the fold.
Gotcha.
So young people out there, if you're looking for a new career path, hey, come on out and get it started. There's no time like today to get it started.
I know what I wanted to say. Hey, make sure you go and download that Andrews app, that Andrews, the Town for Andrews app. Whoever you got working on that, mayor, has been doing a good job, because they've been updating that thing. They got the calendars laid out, so that is a great piece. And it's a great piece for you to. You don't have to dig through all of the bull crap of social media for information. You can go there. You don't have to listen to no commentary, no nothing. You can go get the documents. You can go get what you need over there at that app. Go ahead, sir.
Yeah, you're right. And again, that's the work of the administrator and the company that we hired that put all that stuff. A lot of work that went into that, and so it's there. Again, like you said, download the app. We have all that nice stuff. The next thing we want is probably to add some kind of emergency alert that will go out via text, when we have these inclement weather or bad weather situations. So we're going to kind of continue to improve that, but it's ready available for you. And I appreciate you putting that information out. But we're moving closer to this 21st century thing now. We've come a long way, but still have a distance to go.
No doubt. Well, anyway, great show, guys. Next Tuesday we'll be back on. Mr. Torrance, you wait for that call. You know what I mean? I know you expert in a lot of different things. You know what I mean? Hey,
well, we got to talk about that 2025 project, man. We've talked about trying to get people registered to vote, and that's one of the reasons why they need to make sure they get that registration done and prepare themselves to vote, because guess what? 2025 project is out there and is floating around, and we really need to educate ourselves and educate the people on what that 900-page document is trying to implement and put into place. So put that in your file to work on for us.
No doubt.
I need to get spun up on that. I'm hearing a lot of this talk about the what is it, Project 2025?
Project 2025.
All right.
Yeah, we'll get into that. This person, I don't know what the name is.
They won't let us go, huh?
No, they put up. I guess they're referring to Coach Mez, the situation, and to that person. Now, I've looked into that situation where you're saying something was supposed to be happening with the man and the computer, or the kids supposed to be in the classroom. That's a whole nother conversation. Okay. Now your question is, I would like to know, why is the Georgetown County School District allowing a teacher? And again, I won't be able to answer that for you here this evening, but I will search for that answer for you, and hopefully we can get that answered for you. So, but to that person, Young, is Mez back at Carvers Bay High School? Is he back teaching at Carvers Bay High School? Oh, but yeah, fellas, I don't want to go down that rabbit hole. And she said, well, she says yes. She says yes, he's back at that school. Okay, another can of worms right there. Another can of worms. Hey, Mr. I don't. How do you? Anyway, Young. There's a link in the description on the video on Facebook. If you don't mind, come on here real fast. Now, if you ain't coming on, we about to get off. But if you won't come on, and let's see. And you're right, it's a rabbit hole. Oh, I heard about this. A lot of rabbit holes over there. But yeah, that's another situation. Over there at Carvers Bay. Anyway, that's not going to go anywhere. Fellas, I appreciate you guys. Y'all have a great evening. Let's look to do this again next Tuesday.
All right.
Yeah.
Appreciate it.
Yep.
All right, Mr. Wilson, we'll talk, bro.
All right, guys, there it is. Welcome to Andrew's the podcast, Real Talk Tuesday. We will move on. But I'm interested in having that conversation, Miss Cooper. Young Cooper. But I'll tell you what we can do. Give me a few minutes and we can do a late show, and then you can tell me all about what's going on over there in Carvers Bay. But other than that, I'm gonna say thank you guys, and we'll pop back in a little bit, Miss Young. Matter of fact, inbox me and let me know if I should go back live, and then we can you know what I mean, we can get into the dirt. I don't like to bring those men like that into the dirt. You know what I mean? Guys got professional careers, but now we can go live in a few minutes and get crazy with Ed. What's going on, Ms. Davis? Thank you, ma'am. In the building. Miss McCray, I appreciate you, ma'am. Thank you. Mr. Gibson, I appreciate you, sir. Thank you. All right, we out.